Well, I have to tell you, I really like the movie Game of Thrones, well, the series. But an even better backdrop to that, or a better story, is the Italian Wars. So the Italian Wars were probably between about 1490s and 1560, somewhere in there. And it was really the last the last of the great medieval wars that really pitched Western Europe, their rivals and rival dynasties against each other. It was it's a fantastic story. And in subsequent centuries, the Europeans would slaughter each other in the name of religion, trade, nationalism, and different political philosophies. But the Italian Wars were an inevitable product of the feudal society that pretty much had existed in Western Christendom since the end of the Roman Empire. And the feudal system had its origins, of course, in the barbarian war bands. The flaw in the system was that the feudal monarchs had to acquire ever more territory, either through war or marriage, and to increase their political power, basically, and the resulting disputes over land really produced the endless series of war between Europe's dynasties. Well, by far the most successful of these Game of Thrones players in the historical Game of Thrones was the House of Habsburg, the Imperialists, who really emerged into the light of history during the 11th century. But boy, they were a real juggernaut. But the wars between the Valois, the French, and the Imperials over Italy and over even the Flanders and the Netherlands, I mean, this whole drama is just really fascinating, pulling in the Pope and Papal States. But hey, you know what? We just saw the French in my last video. Let's take a look at what the Imperial army might have looked like during that period. Now, here's Kevin again, as I promised. From the Kraus collection, I would pull out my German Imperialists for the Italian Wars. This is a bit of a later Italian Wars army. It can be morphed even earlier, but there's some units that I'm painting right now that fit more in the early Italian Wars versus this one. But I think this is a great representation. I like it. I love the artillery pieces. Just really stunning little pieces of art. And I like the heavy Landknecht block, which kind of fits as let's say a balance to the Swiss pike blocks. Just as ferocious and mean, with really, really nice figures. I'm really, really pleased with them. And then, of course, my knights. I really enjoyed these, and I don't even know what range of figures they're coming from. Maybe somebody would be so kind as to let me know. Bought them at a flea market for $1 for 5 of them, and then I painted them up. I think they turned out pretty nice. But let's see if I can get in a little bit closer. Really, really beautiful figures. In general, I really enjoyed these. Sorry about the bent lances, but you seem to look at them and they just kind of bend. I don't know what happens, but I think they turned out looking really nice, very colorful. To compare it to the French. I mean, they could be French knights too, for gosh sakes, but I think that in general, they really, really, really look nice. That's kind of one of my favorite ones right there. Ain't that just beautiful? Yeah, I like them. So it's kind of, 2 heavy cavalry wings. The figures that I'm painting up now are more Spanish looking than these. I think, these might actually end up going to the Italian States Army, and I'll bring in the more imperial looking ones later. So, but I'll show those to you as I get them painted up. I still have to paint them. So But that doesn't take very long. But look at these cannons, I mean, with the flame and everything else. Ain't that just beautiful? You know, on this series or this video thing, I'm kind of doing it in different segments, so you'll have to just forgive me. But you know, this Italian war is just so rich. We've got, you know, King Charles' War, which was early or late 1400s. King Louis's War. We have the War of the League of Cambrai. We have this massive Battle of Pavia. We have the War of the League of Cognac. Really, and then of course the later Italian wars, which went all the way to 1560s. A lot of different faces that these armies could actually have depending on the time period and time frame. So I think that some of these figures are from Venezia, I think. I always forget the name of them, but I think they turned out really, really nice. Took forever to paint Landknights. I'm glad I'm done with them. I don't want to paint them again. Really, really hard. But I've got a really nice pike block here, as you can see. I think it turned out very, very nice. And I love the history of the Landknechts because it came from basically Georg von Funsberg. He came from the city next to where I grew up in Germany, from Mindelheim. And so I go to his castle quite often. And, you know, he was the Reichsmarshal of the German forces. And he kind of banded, you know, these southern Germans together as kind of a response to the Swiss pikemen. He did that for the emperor. And he was really, really a great commander. But yeah, he came from my little region and my village, and you know, they have festivals every year, but I think, you know, it's nice if you can personify it. I mean, it as a man of great talent, and I think his flag is this one. That one right there, that's Georg von Funsberg, and that banner right there is the banner of Memmingen, where I went to, where I worked and went to school. So, I mean, everybody has those banners on all of their pikemen. I need to kind of touch up the flags a little bit. I like it when you don't see the white. But all right, these are little small things. But I think they turned out right. I mean, I've got like halberdiers in the back and you know, Spanish swordsmen and things like that. I don't know how accurate everything is. To be honest, I try my best historically, as you know, to do right, but sometimes the artistic abilities kind of take over, and then you don't really know if you have done the right thing or not. But it's got heavy arquebus in the army, as you can see here. I did quite a few units of arquebus. I just think that it was cavalry, a lot of light cavalry, Spanish light and crossbow and handgunners, and so these are my figures. These are from Essex, and I still think, you know, after all this time, that the Essex figures still look pretty good. I mean, these are my Reiters. Of course, that's coming in a little bit late, but I really like them. I love the figure. I think they still work for me. And then, of course, my German cavalry. I really like these guys, and I try to do a little bit of artistic stuff with them. Like, these are my, you know, different flags from southern Germany, and I tried to paint a little bit more. Here's your pre-Bavarian patterns and things like that. So I still think the Essex figures look pretty nice. So I'm not the best painter, so, you know, not a master painter, but I do enjoy it, and I think that the knights still look pretty good. I'll get my big old thumb in the way. And sometimes my choice of banners are not correct. I've got to go back and redo some of them. They are a little bit on the non-historical side, so I have to kind of work on that. I got even see, look at that. I even got a banner there from Wales. My God, in Flanders. They shouldn't be in this army at all. You know, that's probably more appropriate, you know, the Reichsbanner and the city-states, and Spain, but I don't know, sometimes I just go overboard. But anyway, I think they look pretty good, don't you think? You know, the armies that I assembled here and put together, I kind of wanted to recreate the Battle of Pavia, which I think is just an outrageously wonderful battle that had long-reaching, devastating effects and pretty much ended the medieval ages as we know it today. But here's the last segment. Okay, once more, we'll just kind of go into the breach. So I've got some, the units that I'm painting up now are more Spanish looking. So there's probably about 4 pike blocks and some arquebus that are a little bit more kind of bringing in the Spanish look to the Reichsarmee. This is more the Germanic side with a little bit. And of course, what's really nice is I've got a beautiful papal, or not papal, excuse me. It's an Italian, say Italian city-state army, which I'll put up next, which is very Genoese and Milan oriented. Maybe a little bit of papal. So that's really, really nice. They look totally different than the Spanish, but or the Kaiser's army. But I think it's nice to be able to move in and out and show different things. Like, I mean, look at this knight here. Look, isn't this just gorgeous? I had fun with him. It's just beautiful. All right. Well, anyway, it's I like painting knights, as you could probably guess. I think they just look very, very cool. Anyway, that's the army, and I hope you enjoyed it very much. Well, I hope you enjoyed my representation of the Imperial armies of the Habsburgs. It's not easy to recreate because there was so many different mercenaries that came in and out. But I think if you're building this army, you can have a core of Landknechts, and you can have a core of Imperial knights and some artillery. But what becomes colorful at this point is to add in the mercenaries of the different Italian states, maybe Milano, Genoa, Venice, the Papal States. You can add in Spanish, more tercio-looking troops, and so you really can have a lot of fun. I certainly did, as you could see by the colorfulness of the knights and different things. And maybe some of them aren't so historically accurate, but hey, you know what? It's my army, my paintbrush. Yeah, well, you all take care. Thank you very much for listening to me rambling on.